Summer League. The first chance to see potential superstars and the last chance for a lot of young players. The time for future stars to take the stage, and this Summer League had to have been one of the most important in recent history. For a good while now, LeBron's ability to stay in the league has been questionable. Year after year after year after year has finally taken its toll on him, and it's so blatantly obvious that when LeBron goes, a large chunk of the NBA's fan base goes with him, as the NBA would lose the face and the heart of the league for the past 20 years. This Summer League meant so much because it was meant to be the Summer League where the new generation finally stepped up. With failure after failure of player marketing, no young star has successfully taken the steps to pull the viewers along their journey. No one has stolen the hearts of the fans like the kid from Akron, but with the player who would go #1 in a draft with LeBron, Victor Wembanyama, coming in, it was meant to be the time someone finally stepped up. And stepped up they did. Everyone stepped up. Underrated players, undrafted players, players with no contracts, and stars ready to bloom. Everybody stepped. And today, in traditional NBA fashion, we're going to honor those who stepped up the most. If you wanted to stand out in Summer League, defense is 100% the way to go. In a more offensively talented league, defense is looking like more of a rarity these days, where you can complete starting rosters with almost all defensive liabilities and still be considered favourites. Defense is such a rarity that players are getting boosted to all-time status by being good defenders in a weak era. The current state of the league endorses offense so much that they try to ban the charge because some players fell over. Defense is so easily the best way to stand out, and 3 players capitalized on this opportunity immensely. Those 3 players were Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama, and Jordan Walsh. Despite all being from various selections and years, the one thing they were all scouted for was their defense. Chet and Victor went as high as they did, in large part due to their offense, but also due to their size, mobility, shot blocking, and defensive IQ at such a young age, to the point where they could come in the league and be top 10 defenders. In Walsh's case, he did go second round, but with the way they were questioning his offensive game, his defense was the sole reason he got drafted at all. And with the showcase he put on, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. At 6'7", 205 pounds, he's the perfect size for any elite defender. He was short enough to stick with guards and take up enough of their space to make it hard for them to move, but he's also long enough to cover and trap taller players, making them pick up their dribble or force bad shots. Then there's the Twin Towers. They have similar attributes where they're both extremely long, making any shots at the rim a no-go, but not slow enough where on the perimeter you can blow by them as easily as other bigs. They can step over fast enough to cut you off, and even trying to get off some form is almost impossible because you have a 9'6" standing reach jumping 27 inches into the air right in front of you. These awards always come down to impact, so the Summer League Defensive Player of the Year is Chet Holmgren. No disrespect to Jordan Walsh, but in competing against 2 generational defenders, he was never really competing. So the difference between Wemby and Chet is impact. In 6 Summer League games, Wemby played 2 to Chet's 3. But the real kicker is, Wemby's debut game was a stinker. Defensively, he was making a lot of lackadaisical plays, missed reads, and didn't live up to his potential. In contrast, the 3 Summer League games Chet played all maintained a high level of defense, not just relative to the Summer League, relative to the NBA, as he put significant pressure on the defense to stay out of the paint, in turn slowing down and dictating the entire game. Overall, elite level defense. Most improved player. Now for video's sake and dramatic flair, I have to list 3 finalists, so I'll say player A, player B, and Jabari Smith Jr. But undoubtedly it's going to be Jabari Smith Jr. He absolutely dominated his competition. Not only was he the best second-year player, but he was arguably the best player in its entirety. And specifically for his draft class, he really started validating the "there's 3 #1 picks" claims. In his rookie season, he didn't stand out relative to how hyped he was. For averaging 13, 7, and 1 with a block and half a steal in 31 minutes, he didn't finish top 6 in Rookie of the Year votings. It's not even a matter of not winning, because Jaden Ivey won equal amounts of games and finished 6th, so you can tell his rookie showcase was underwhelming to say the least. His only real takeaway being that he's a good one-on-one defender for his age, which would likely get him a lengthy career, a Trevor Ariza type career. To say the least, everything stepped up. More specifically, his offense took a major jump up from his previous splits. More specifically, as a shot creator, he was looking real KD-ish. On 22 attempts, he averaged 36, 7, and 4 on 64% true shooting. Though he had a small sample size, over 2 games, he scored 71 points, which both led to wins. His best upgrade was how significantly he improved his ability to create off the dribble. More time he'd take his man to the mid-range to create a shot, and paired with his athleticism, it varied his response, because he could take bigger players to the hole and finish around the rim, or more likely, he'd perform some form of step back, fade, all the way out to the free, as he did like to settle for jump shots a little too often. He could read his defenders very well, and while he didn't always make the right play, he was entirely capable, as those 4 assists as a 6'10" power forward didn't come out of nowhere. To top it all off, he sprinkled on his great defense, as his ability to switch defenders, move his feet and block shots might genuinely make him one of the only players to be able to guard 1 through 5. He's taken most improved player by a landslide. For Rookie of the Year, we will simply be looking at first year players who have come in and shown that they are a step ahead of their class. In this case, it refers to Victor Wembanyama, Keyonte George, and Cam Whitmore. Wemby undoubtedly had the most hype going in, and he only kind of delivered. While he was still one of the best players in Summer League, in 54 minutes on the court, he was only good for half of them. While the first half had him saying this,
"Honestly, I didn't really know what I was doing on the court tonight, but
The last 27 minutes was so unreasonably tough. He put up 27 points, that's a point every minute, 12 rebounds with 2 threes, a steal and 3 blocks. For the sake of time, I'll summarize. Everything you heard about him, his shot creation, his defense, his ball handling, his spacing, etc., it was all true. And while this was probably the best showing in Summer League, doing it in only 1 game, on top of having the other game being as bad as it was, can't win the award. So between Cam and Keyonte, who had the better showing? They both showed what they were drafted for and far more. George showed his shot creation and confident scoring ability, an effective 3-level scorer averaging 19, 5 and 4 on good splits. But to pair with his clearly confident scoring ability was a newly developed playmaking. And while he was likely drafted as a replacement D Mitch, improving and adapting this early is a sign that he's only looking to get better and can only expand beyond his expectations. On the other hand, Cam Whitmore, after somehow falling to 20th after being projected top 5, was likely expected to take a backseat to the number 4 pick and 3 pick, respectfully. But with a Means injury in his first game and Jabari only playing 2 games, he probably wanted to show what the 19 teams missed out on, and he did just that by winning the official Summer League MVP. Honestly, enough said. The NBA thought he was the best player in the league, and true say, is good enough for me. On top of the fact that George has some glaring weaknesses in his game, noticeably his defense, his over-aggressiveness, and his lack of an overall game outside of scoring, Cam Whitmore takes home his 2nd trophy. Last and probably least, the MVP. Now in the regular season, there are 3 main components that go into voting: narrative, team success, and ability. So just for funsies, let's apply the same. So first, who was the best player in the Summer League? I would go for Jabari Smith Jr. He's already had his own segment, so I'll keep it brief. He was good in the few games he played and improved in every aspect: scoring, defense, shot creation, blah blah blah. He probably would have officially won it if he played in the finals, but he has no storyline. Yes, he was one of the 3 number 1 picks, but during his rookie season, after his rookie season, during Summer League, and after Summer League, nobody has talked about him. The most memorable moment of his career so far has been calling LeBron old. So without the narrative, he can't win. But you know who had a great narrative? Another one of the 3 number 1 picks, draft compadre to Jabari Smith Jr., Chet Holmgren. Eyes have been on Chet since high school, and the potential has always been high with him. Big things were consistently expected of him. So when injuries derailed his rookie season, it let the mystery of his potential build up. Then add the fact that he put on 13 pounds of muscle when his physique was his main concern, and battle. You have a great storyline. While he played well enough on both ends of the court this Summer League, his play didn't lead to any team success. As the Thunder were 4-4, despite the fact that in the 3 games he played where he averaged 14 and 9 with 4 blocks and a steal, his team ended 16th overall and 10th in his conference, meaning he is missing the winning aspect. But there is one player who fits all these categories. The player who would go number 1 in a draft with LeBron, the most hyped prospect ever, the new face of the league, Victor Wembanyama. Whoa. Not only does he have the storyline, he has the storyline. Literally no one has a better storyline because no one has been expected to carry a multi-billion-dollar establishment on their back like this. So far he's done an alright job with his 127-point performance and even playing okay defense on his off night. For his best game, he was probably the best player in the league, so his ability can't be questioned. And the cherry on top of this all, in terms of team success, his team left the Summer League with a winning record, finishing 7th in the West and 11th in the entire league, where he even split the 2 games he played, which means he has ticked every box by NBA standards, resulting in me giving him his first award. I just made history. I'm a hero. I think this Summer League was one of the most important in recent memory. With the decline in viewership, there needs to be something the league can latch onto in terms of hope for the future. Over the past few years, there have been a handful of duds that were meant to lead the league. Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, Lonzo Ball, etc. Even if you look at the last class, the way the top 3 picks were hyped, one didn't end up playing and one didn't play well. Without a definitive solution, the anxiety for the league would only fester. But this year really emphasized the talent that's coming into the league. For one of the biggest draft classes we've had for the past 2 decades, it produced more than we expected. Players drafted in the second round, role players from the previous seasons, and players who barely played in college are taking this opportunity to prove themselves. Even for the players I didn't mention, Scoot Henderson, Orlando Robinson, the Thompson twins, etc. They didn't lag behind or anything, it's just circumstances couldn't get them into this video. However, it's undeniable that all these players will be the stars of tomorrow. But if you want to see the latest young superstar, click this video here. If you like the video, like the video. If you don't, don't. Subscribe if you want, and I'm done. Okay, bye.